Hey kids, it's Dad. Welcome to the Gaming with Dad show. Today we're doing something a little bit different, which is a quiz. But before we do that, go on ahead, like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave a comment, do all that YouTube voodoo that you do so well. So yes, today we are looking at poorly written plot synopses. See if you can guess the movie, and then go on ahead, post your score in the comments section after this video. And let's get going here. So this first one. Struggling writer deals with his inner demons. You'll have 30 seconds to try to figure out what this is. But yeah, this is a movie that I didn't see until my teenage years, and it scared the hell out of me. And of course, it scares the hell out of me because I am, in fact, a struggling writer with my own internal demons. So yeah, what is this movie? It is, of course, The Shining. Yes, one of the scariest, at least psychologically horrifying movies ever made. Our next question is, a woman struggles against working-class chauvinists to bring the freighter into port safely. Sorry, I'm standing in front of the last word there. This is another movie that the commercial freaked me out as a kid. It was horrifying. I had nothing but horrific nightmares about this movie, and I didn't see it until I was maybe 13. It is, of course, Alien. And yes, had the crew of male chauvinists listened to Ripley, the entire movie wouldn't have happened. Going on, none of the men listened to the experienced woman's opinions and wind up in a bad situation. So the quiz is meant to be pretty damn easy, but this is another one of those situations where nobody listens to this experienced, knowledgeable, strong female character, and basically everything goes into the shitter faster than what you could possibly imagine. That movie is, of course, Aliens, the sequel. So, yes, these are meant to be pretty easy questions, but we move on to this next question. Woman trapped in an all-male prison must shave her head and fight for her very survival. Really a movie that I did see when it came out. It is a controversial movie in this franchise. You probably already know what that is, and that's simply because, well, you're paying attention to the quiz and you already know what those movies are. But the whole purpose of this is just to point out how bad those plot synopses are written on Netflix and Amazon and everything. It is, of course, Alien 3. Not a great movie, but an okay entry. Tomb raiding pedo has no impact on the eventual and inevitable outcome of this story. So yeah, you watch this movie, you are cheering for the main character until you realize that he is a pedophile and has zero impact on the outcome of the adventure. This can, of course, only be Raiders of the Lost Ark. And yes, Marion was originally scripted to be 14. They kind of bumped her up to 16, but Indy was still 22. Older man kidnaps teenage boy. This sounds like a horror movie of astronomical proportions. And it's an 80s classic. This is a movie that helped shape our view of the 80s, the 60s, the 2010s, and the Old West. It is, of course, Back to the Future. And yes, Doc Brown actually kidnaps a teenage boy and sends him on adventures through time and not space. So, simple farm boy must go on an adventure to save a princess from a far off land. This is one of the biggest movies in my life. It is foundational to my love of its genre. It is foundational to the love of millions upon millions of people. This, of course, can be only Star Wars: A New Hope. This is a movie I did not get to see in the theaters when it first came out. I had to wait until its re-release before Empire Strikes Back. So, yes. Single father attempts to reconnect with his son after being separated since birth. Again, if you're paying attention to this quiz at all, you know that, yes, this is fundamentally how Netflix or Disney would write this plot synopsis, and it is actually very accurate to the movie's plot, but it misses so much more because this is Empire Strikes Back. And yes, fundamentally, this is where we learned that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father, and he attempts to reconnect. Simple farm boy discovers he's part of an important and powerful family. Okay, so yes, this is cheating. You will be able to get this just because of my choice of words on this plot synopsis. But yeah, when you break this movie down, it is the main characters, or one of the main characters' discovery that his family is legendary and very powerful, and that is, of course, Return of the Jedi. And with the introduction of Leia as his sister, the princess, there's a whole lot of ew factors going into this movie. So, young boy is taken from his single mother and indoctrinated into a cult. Gotta ask yourself, what could this possibly be? Because this sounds like the plot of some kind of suspenseful horror movie. And boy, this is one of those that, yes, it came along later in my life, but had a great impact on my parenting and my older children. This is, of course, The Phantom Menace, where the Jedi are exposed to being, you know, a cult and indoctrinating orphans or people taken. Two slave armies are pitted against each other to resolve the disagreements between the rich and powerful. So, yes, this movie deals with two different armies, neither of which have free will, and they are there to resolve political and financial conflicts between two free groups of people. This is Attack of the Clones. The robots have no free will. The clones have no free will. This is absolutely horrific if you think about it in those lines. A young man escapes years of brainwashing only to end up a quadriplegic on life support. Of course, you know exactly what this movie is. He escapes the cult that he was indoctrinated into. He was brainwashed into suppressing all of his feelings and emotions, only to be set free and then tormented by his former cult members and left on life support with his limbs dismembered. It is Revenge of the Sith. Yes, Anakin isn't the hero, but he should be. A brother attempts to reconnect with his long-lost sister. This is another one of those movies scared the hell out of me as a kid. I'm gonna be honest. It truly terrorized me. And this is really the main plot of the story. It's just a brother trying to reconnect with his long-lost sister. Now, that brother is Michael Myers, his sister is, of course, Laurie Strode, and he is trying to kill her. But he is also trying to make that family connection. This next movie here is Star-Crossed Lovers deal with the violence in both their pasts. This sounds like some sort of Romeo and Juliet crossover that is absolutely thrilling. Both of them have a bad history. Both are trying to overcome that. They are star-crossed lovers. But what this movie actually is a horrible conclusion to a beloved franchise. So yeah, if you haven't guessed it yet, this movie is Halloween Ends. Now, those are not the star-crossed lovers. The star-crossed lovers are actually God, what was it? Corey and Laurie's granddaughter, I don't remember her name. Abused young orphan slips into a fantasy world. This one, again, later in my life, but had a great impact on the lives of my older children. Absolutely, positively loved this movie series. I've tried getting the younger kids into it. They're not really all that interested in it, but ultimately, the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone and the Harry Potter franchise are a fantastic set of movies. And then finally, this is actually not a movie, but a TV show. Depressed cancer patient finds a way to pay for his family's needs after his death. I think you should be able to figure out what this television show is just based on that. It is a classic, a must watch all the way through because it is just thrilling. But at the core, this is what Breaking Bad is all about. So, yeah, go on ahead, post your scores below. Hopefully, I'll have video games for you tomorrow. We'll talk to you kids later. Bye bye. And of course, if you've made it this far, go on ahead, like, subscribe, leave a comment, ring the bell, share this video out. All of that gubbins is good for the YouTube algorithm and helps me grow the channel. Thank you.